my father actually this that we were flying. My parents, we went off to find fuel. He never came back. My mum then just left it, and back. So then I was defend for myself. Hence me being the feral kid out in the desert by myself. And yeah, look, I don't think that necessarily part it helped towards that. But George Miller told me, and I saw him about about 4 years ago, and I hadn't seen him since I've was on location, and he said the most thing I knew you were a kid. He said you had this. You were this little frail, little skinny little kid, definitely different than what I am now.
Yeah.
And he said, but yet you had this resilience of someone that could survive the desert, and he just knew I was the right one for the part. So yeah, that's how it all began.
Oh my God! So how old were you when they started filming? Were you sort of about 8 by then?
Yeah, old. And we went up to Broken Hill, and I was there for like 3 months or 3.5 months through the whole shoot, because we shot, unlike some other movies, that they shoot different scenes. Some movies start from the end and go to the middle and different. We started the film; it went from the beginning to the end. So that's how we shot it. The first scene where you see me come out of the hole and Max is driving down into the compound, and you see me come out with the boomerang, and I'm looking, well, that was my first day on the job. And then my last day was, when I'm on the back of the bus saying, I became the leader of the Great Northern Tribe.
Wow. So what was your sort of your fondest memories of that time of the filming? Can you remember much back then?
Look, my memory is sort of funny back then because I was 8 years old, so yeah. I was really young. It's funny, friends tell me that they remember their 3rd and 4th birthdays, but when I was 8, I sort of definitely have a few things that stand out in my head, and I've sort of told this before. I remember Mel and the relationship I had with Mel, Guy Norris, the stuntman, who was the Bear Claw character. I've got certain, memories with him and things that we did. But yeah, so, I mean, I was 8 years old on the set of Mad Max, which was like crazy, right? Everyone's dressed in all these crazy and wonderful, wonderful costumes. And, mate, I had a ball. I was jumping in and out of cars and on motorbikes and, So, I remember things like that. The story that I've got with Guy Norris. So Guy Norris was the guy that came down and he hit the buggy and flipped over.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And then it's funny because there's an old video, like an 80s video out there that said after he did that was it. That ended his job on the movie, but that wasn't true. He then became the Bear Claw character, sitting on the back of the truck, and I jumped through the cabin and I'm trying to rip his mask off, and he's got a plaster on his leg.
Oh God!
Yeah. So after that day, we went into town, and there was there's a cafe we all used to hang out at. It was called the Kookaburra Cafe in Broken Hill, and he walked in with crutches and a plaster. And he said before we went in, he said, Emil, he said, we're going to play a trick on, I forget the guy's name who ran the cafe. He said, we're going to play a trick on him. What we're going to do is we're going to go in, we're going to pretend that we're fighting, and I'm going to get your head and I'm going to ram it into the counter. So we go in.
As you do when you're 8 years old.
Yeah, I'm 8 years old. I'm so down for the joke, because I'm so in for it. And so we go in and he's pretending to argue with me, and then he gets me in the headlock and he's going bang, bang, bang into the counter, and it was his plaster hitting the counter, not my head. And right behind the counter's going, take it easy, look after, relax, what are you doing? And it was funny. Like, so there was lots of stories like things like that, and Mel. I remember Mel. We went to the local club in town. Everyone used to eat there, and I think it was called the Legion Club.
Jesus, when you said club, I thought he went clubbing with you when you were 8 years old. You had me then a little bit shocked then.
No. I used to. That was a few years.
I need to have a verb on that one.
No, that was about 10 years on. I used to go clubbing. Anyway, so we were in a local Legion club, and we're having dinner, and Mel shouted me to drink. And the guy behind the bar, he said, I'll make up this special thing. It's called a traffic light. So what it is, it's lemonade, and then it's layered with different color cordials. And I think it was actually green at the red at the bottom, orange in the middle, and green at the top. And it was called a traffic light. He shouted me a drink, and I remember that. But I remember lots of other different being around the set. Yeah, it was a wonderful time. A wonderful time for me as an 8-year-old kid.
A few questions from the audience. First of all, This question is from Ryan Brown, who's a very, very famous Marvel and DC comic artist. He wanted to ask, now that you're not a kid, are you still feral?
Yeah, I'm 48, 48, something like that now. Yeah, I'm still crazy. I'm still pretty mad. I'm probably looking a little bit feral because it's like 8 o'clock in the morning here in Sydney. So and I should have my hair spiked up or something. But yeah, look, I'm still the same person that I was back then. Just older.
Well, you're looking amazing for the age there. Also, a quick question from
you cheeky get.
No, I think he's looking wonderful. A question from me, sir. Are you a natural with a boomerang?
Can I say something?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Because normally for all our guests, I bring something special on. So normally I would have gone out and would have burst the bunk and would have really found the real one. But as we're on lockdown, I'm not allowed to leave the house really. So I got one for you, a special one for you. My boomerang. Yes.
That looks authentic. That's awesome.
Very.
That's awesome.
That looks remarkably like a yellow boomerang.
Well, this is my first time on the show, so I can't say normally I would bring something on for the show, but yeah.
There you go.
Oh my god!
Now we're getting real. That's the real boomerang.
Yeah. Okay. So there was what I believe there were 3 boomerangs used in the film. One was the boomerang that you see me come out of the hole and I throw the boomerang at the Golden Youth or at Wes, and it comes around and I catch it. It's also the other one that I show off to Mel, which got all the blood on it, and I'm showing off to Mel Gibson. Then the second boomerang was one that you see flying in the air. I believe it was a wooden boomerang that was covered in like alfoil, or we call it aluminium foil or tin foil.
Tin foil.
It might have even been painted silver. I don't completely remember. Then there was this one here. Now, I don't know if you can see, but this one has holes
everywhere.
It's got 3 holes here and then 3 holes on this side. And this was the one that was used from the holes that had fishing line going up to a motor that ran along a long boom. And this was the one, I call this the stunt boomerang or the double boomerang. So this was the one used to, they directed it into my hand when I caught the boomerang for the first throw.
Yeah.
All right.
And it was also the one they used where it was spinning and it hit the Golden Youth in the head.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my gosh.
This was given to me by George and Byron Kennedy. God bless him. Byron Kennedy. So I've always treasured this as the original boomerang because it was the one that's special. It was given to me. The other boomerang, the one that's polished, the one you saw me show off. That's in Adrian and Linda's museum in Broken Hill.
Oh,
so they've got that one. But to me, like when people say, "Oh, do you still have the boomerang?" I go, "Yes," because this was the one that was given to me by Byron and George. And
Oh wow, man.
This I treasure. This stays in. I only brought it home today.
Yeah.
Or yesterday for this interview. Tomorrow,
It fits you.
It'll go back to my work, and it'll go back to my in a safe. It's in a 3-ton safe,
that's it.
and stays in the safe. I used to take this to conventions, and we took it back to the Max reunion in 2001. But now what I do, if I take something to a convention, I make a replica. I take a replica to place because I can't take this on the plane. They won't let me take it.
Shit.
This almost got confiscated on a flight from Melbourne to Sydney. It almost got confiscated, and they weren't going to get it. I would have killed someone for it.
Oh my God. Wow. Well, thank you so much.
That is amazing. Thank you so much. That's an honor.
So
amazing.
Did you get to keep anything else from the filming? We were asked if you got the music box.
Yeah, I saw that question, and yes, I got once again. I got one of two that we used for the film. The one I used, it may very well have been the one that you actually saw in the film. I did get to keep that, but sadly, many years ago, I pulled it apart. I wanted to know how it was made, and I pulled it apart, and it just never went back together, and I lost it. It's really sad. But hey, I was young back then, and I didn't know, to keep something like that, so I do wish I had it, but I've got many replicas now. People send them to me all over the world. I've got I've got a dozen probably. I also I'll tell you something else interesting I got to keep too. The scene along the truck where there's barbed wire along the tanker. I had a whole roll of that, and what that was is it wasn't real barbed wire. That was basically electrical wire, and every couple of inches it had a little bit of electrical wire that was twisted to make it look like wire. I had a roll of that. I don't have that anymore. I lost that in a move between houses with my family. But the thing that I wish I had today most, so my hotel I stayed in Broken Hill was called the Lodge Motor Inn. It was the same motel that a couple of other actors like Gel Nielsen stayed there with me. Also, I forget his name. The guy that he's the mechanics assistant, the one that says okay.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
He stayed in my motel as well. But it was just in the motel out the back. They had the cutting room, and that's where they were doing all the cutting for the rushes of the film.
Wow.
So I used to go in there daily and see what they were doing, and there was bits of film all over the ground where they've cut it up and just chucked it on the ground. So what I did is I went and grabbed all these longs of film and stuck them together, and they showed me how to splice them. And I had my own short reel of film, right? And it was a couple of scenes with me and Mel. It was a couple of scenes with other, and I had it in the original Panavision silver case that they put the film in. And I lost that years ago. I don't know where it went, which is really sad. I mean, it probably would have spoiled in the end, but that's something else I got from the film, which is quite unique.
Were there many outtakes or deleted scenes which never made it to the final cut you can remember?
No, I don't actually. No. Only because I wasn't like involved in that.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about that. I mean, only thing I know about deleted scenes is from what you guys probably already see on the internet, and so. Yeah.
Well, I've got a question here from one of our war boys, from Joseph Tyler, and he wants to know what stunts did you get to do? Were there many dangerous ones you were doing? And, while you were on the rig. So can you give some more examples on it?
Yeah, okay. So I did basically all the things that you see me doing in the film. They were all me. I was on the front of the truck, and when I was on the front of the truck, I had a harness underneath my costume. It was made of leather that had a big ring at the back, and it was connected via a big cable. So a guy was in the cabin of the truck hanging on to the cable and hence hanging on
Proper
the
health
so
and safety.
I didn't fall off.
Yeah.
So, I was quite well protected there. And I actually I do have a vague memory of going to a guy's house, Broken Hill, and they were suiting me up for the harness and measuring me up for the leather harness to do that. The only thing, so I did all the other stunts on the front of the truck. You see me going around the side. Also, when the truck pulls out of the compound, you see me break away from Archie Whiteley, the captain's girl.
Yeah.
You see me break away from her, and I run and jump onto the truck as it's moving, as it's taking off. I did all of that.
Wow.
The only stunt or thing that I didn't do, and I put this down to, I actually thanked the person that did this stunt, and she was brilliant. Her name was Melissa. She was the one that did the backflip when I do a backflip into Yeah, she was a gymnast. She was a local girl from Broken Hill, and they got her to come out and do that stunt. And she was great. I mean, because there was no way I was doing that at an 8-year-old kid. I wasn't a gymnast. You know what I mean? So, and in actual fact, she even hurt herself too. I think when she did it, her gymnast, her instructor was there, and he was taking a photo. And as she did the backflip, she hit, because my hole under the ground, ground where you see me go under the tunnel.
Yeah.
What they were just 44-gallon drums under the dirt, right?
Right.
So it wasn't a hole. You could only crawl under and fit inside this little drum. And she did the backflip, and she hit her lip on the edge of the drum.
Oh,
so she even hurt herself. And I put that stunt down to her. She was brilliant, and it looked fantastic in the film. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Crazy.
I have a question which hasn't been on the chat room. Thinking of stunt people, was your mullet a stunt mullet, or was it your own?
Okay, so it was my hair at the sides.
Yeah.
Where you saw I had the blonde streaks, very similar to Mel's character.
Yeah.
My hair was at the front, about halfway at the back of my head. Back was a wig.
Okay.
Yeah. I know. It's amazing how many people go, they see me these days and they go, "You cut your long hair," and you go, "That was a wig."
That was a wig.
Yeah.
You muppet.
Oh my god. Well, just while we're waiting for the next load of questions, we've got our own little game, our Celebrity Thunderdome. I don't know if you saw this on one of the other shows. So we've got 16 of the world's top fighters in here. The last episode we had Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks versus a Tribble from Star Trek. The way it works is I'm going to pick two out. We're going to assign one to Emil and one to Skelly. You then have 30 seconds to convince the audience that your fighter should win, and then we put it to the vote. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
And the two we have picked for you, sir, for Emil, you have Harry Potter. And Skelly, you have a Dalek from Doctor Who. Okay? So it's Harry Potter.
Step up from Jar Jar.
Oh no, that's true. It's Harry Potter versus a Dalek. So Emil, you have 30 seconds to convince the crowd at home why Harry Potter is going to win.
Okay, well, he's got a magic wand, right? He can do whatever he wants with this wand. Now, the Daleks, I remember the Daleks because I used to watch, Doctor Who and the Daleks, and you thought they were like things that could just blast anyone out of the water. But remember that this wand can do anything that I say. So, sorry, Dalek, you're not going to come close. And I will pull this out again, right? Right. So if the wand doesn't work, trust me, you're gone, you're finished. Good night.
So Harry Potter's going to.
That was a good end.
So Harry Potter is going to borrow your boomerang. Is that your ending quote?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
put down his magic wand and take a boomerang.
Boomer wand.
Okay. Okay then, Skelly.
Don't see the undefeated streak ending.
Over to you, Skelly.
Am I up?
You've got 30 seconds
Well,
to
I
tell
think
me.
I'll start off with this.
I think you're doomed, but go.
I'm on.
You're on. Go. Oh.
Firstly, magic isn't real, but Daleks actually are. They're the supreme beings. They conquer the universe multiple times. They're made of Dalekanium, what the hell that is. So that boomerangs will just bounce off it. You can't make the wand do whatever you say. You have to know Latin. Do you know Latin? Where did you learn Latin? So all one thing I have to say is...
Was that it?
Daleks win every time. And they have Davros. So...
Okay.
Still, and they killed the Tribbles as well, and also they're all Welsh.
Okay.
Inside,
Well,
they're Welsh.
Thank you.
You're not paying
That seems to tip things.
that every single
I
time.
have no idea where he's going with
You
that.
can't pull that one
Okay,
every
it's now
time.
open to the audience, guys. You've got to the end of the show to vote. Harry Potter or a Dalek to go to the next round. So the last episode we had Jar Jar Binks and the Tribbles, and Jar Jar won that one. So Harry Potter or the Daleks. So back to you, Emil. Just a quick question. Well, a couple of things. First of all, we're super excited to get you over to the UK. So soon as all this virus is over, we'd love you to come over for Haven Outpost. Also, we would love next year, we would like to go back to Wasteland Weekend, and we would like to bring you over to Wasteland Weekend, over to LA, and bring you on stage with us. Is that okay with you, sir?
Yeah, that's crazy. I've been watching Wasteland Weekend over the numerous years, and the biggest turnout of post-apocalyptic, people, characters, cars, blah blah, and they get out. Is it, correct me if I'm wrong? It's in the Mojave Desert,
It is.
it's out.
Yeah, in the middle of it.
Yeah, and they're just awesome, man. Everyone has a time and a great vibe. I love that. That would be fantastic. I'd be absolutely honoured to be a part of that. I love the enthusiasm. The logistics. I think about the logistics of things like that. How to get that many people together and how to coordinate the cars, the vehicles, the camps, the toilets, and this and that. So I understand things about that, and they just do a really good job of it. I mean, that would be fantastic. It's amazing, and the spirit that everyone has, it's for one thing.
It's for Mad Max. It's post-apocalyptic. It's not just, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not just Mad Max. There are people that are, it's post-apocalyptic, and that's just amazing. So I'd be absolutely honoured to be there.
We would love you to sort of join V2A, be on stage with us, cause chaos, enjoy the show. Yeah. Last year, for their 10-year anniversary, we decided to bring giant snow cannons to the Mojave Desert.
Wow!
So
it was a blizzard.
It was a blizzard. So every year we have a bigger and bigger show, and it's truly chaos. We also have all the War Boys on stage, and there's about 30 of those with us. Lord
It's our family.
It's just absolutely crazy. Also, one other thing I'd like to say before we get back to some of the questions is, Mad Max 2 is my all-time favourite film. It changed my life. So massive thank you to you and everybody else involved in that film. That literally, it shaped our whole fandom. Everything we're into. It's just totally changed our lives. So thank you so much for that. And also, I think we're going to start off an internet campaign to get Mr. Minty, the feral kid, back in the next Mad Max film. Yes. We want to know what's happened to the leader of the Great Northern Tribe. So after this, we're going to get all the Mad Max fans from around the world. We're going to create an online petition, and we're going to start hounding Mr. Miller and get you in the next one, sir, if that's okay with you.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Okay. Any more questions, Stig? Any more for Emil?
Well, we've answered most of them. People wanted to know particularly about the boomerang.
A quick question then, Emil. Any shout-outs you'd like to do to people online?
Okay. I mean, I haven't had much of a chance to because I've been watching this rather than YouTube. There was a comment I saw on there saying from.
Hopefully not the one from Terry who wants to blow you up at Haven. We said no, Terry.
I did
Terry.
say
No, Terry.
No, Terry. Yeah.
Sorry, Terry. It's all good, mate. It's all good. No, there was Captain.
No, he's serious. He is serious.
Captain Mayhem.
Captain.
No, Captain Mayhem. No, there was some. Also, saw a comment originally first started live on Facebook.
Was it Captain Timmy?
No, I think it was someone from Sydney. I can't. I'm just trying to scroll through and have a look.
Well, just while you're looking through, one other thing, there is a Silverton Collective, so massive shout out to those guys, and they're doing a 40-year anniversary party next year for Mad Max 2. Are you going, sir?
Yes, there's Steve Scholes.
Yeah.
Steve Scholes and his guys are doing the collective. I'm definitely going to that. I'm hoping to have both of my. I've got 2 interceptors now.
Playing green.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm not bragging. I've got 2 interceptors. And I'm trying to have both of them there to the event. I'm going to have at least one.
Wow.
So yeah, we're building those. My mate Scott Smith from Melbourne. He's called Last V8 Engineering.
Yeah.
He's built many replicas now that are in Japan, America, and the UK. I really believe it. He's been my mate for 20 years, and he builds the most authentic replica Mad Max cars, I believe, in the world. So he's going to be. We're going to have a up there. We're going to have him, my wife. We're going to have my kids there. We'll have a couple other friends that are going to come and help us with security and just logistics of everything.
Also, would you like to join us on stage there, sir? Because V2A are coming as well.
Yeah, 100%. I'll be there for that.
Emil, are you showing me the kangaroos?
I'm sure you'll see a few kangaroos down at Silverton. I'm sure you will. Especially if you're driving there and you're coming in through Wilcannia, you're gonna see a lot of kangaroos.
I can't wait. Well, I have to fight one in the UK. Yeah. Did you hear? Yeah, I have to freakaroo.
Not literally.
Not the real one, but it's freakaroo. I have to fight, but I want to really meet a real one, like a proper kangaroo.
Yeah. It's funny.
Maybe I'll hop with it around or something.
So
I don't know.
a couple of questions that I've had from another guest. What is your favourite drink? So if it's a Saturday night or you're running towards the bunker, it's the end of the world, you can only grab one drink on the way in, what drink would you go for? What's your fave?
It has to be beer.
Yeah.
But it's really depending what sort of beer. At the moment, it's Asahi Dry.
Oh,
hey.
It's a Japanese beer.
Nice.
So, yeah. So, I definitely got to say a beer. You know, I mean, God, who doesn't love a beer?
Just one.
But yeah, I'll drink anything. I actually think I saw a message on one of your posts that one of the questions was if you're gonna have a beer, what would you have? 1 pint or 3? My answer is I'll have 10. I'll have 10 pints. Thank you.
Yeah.
You are my man.
Exactly.
Yeah. So also with your beer, what would your food be? What would your favourite food? You could grab, you grab your case of beer, and what food would you grab before you ran into your bunker?
That's a tough one. My wife's Italian, right? So she cooks fantastic pasta, and her and her family have brilliant cooking coming from Italian heritage. So they do and with things like just every Monday night. God bless. Every Monday night we have dinner. it'll be anything from lasagna to they call these little meatballs bricioli in Italy, and food like that is unreal. But if it's just food from anywhere else, give me a good steak any day.
Well,
I cook a meat steak.
I had messages coming through from the Order of the V8, which is the Warboy camp on Wasteland Weekend. They can't wait to take you onto the parties, at their camp parties, and to give you the mother's milk.
Love you, boys. Love you. Yeah, I'm happy to try some of that. I remember I've got 2 kids, so I've tried it before.
Hey!
So another quick question. Well, our next guest on Wednesday is another guy from Australia. We've got Steve on, Steve Schultz. Do you have a question for him, sir? What would you like to ask him? And you can put him on the spot, ask him something really naughty, whatever, because...
Where's my money?
Yeah.
No. In actual fact, did someone say, "Where's my money"?
Yeah.
I think. Was it Patrick or Mark?
No, in actual fact, the Silverton Collective event, I'm paying my own way to be there. My cars, my family, staff there, paying my whole way to be there because
what a star!
I want to do that for fans. We'll also have a store there. I'll have a store, and I will be signing autographs. I'll have some boomerangs for sale, and I'm going to have some really very special items coming up then that are going to be for sale for people around the world. Even if they can't be there, I will sell them to people overseas that can't make it to that event. I'm working really unique products. So, of course, that it's not to make money for me. I'm not about making money. Even when I did acting, I only did acting to make pocket money.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't make that much from Mad Max. I think I made a few $1,000s from Mad Max. That went into my bank account, and then my other movies I did went into a bank account. My parents, one day when I needed it to buy my first home after I got married to my lovely wife, my parents said, "Here you go, here's your money," and I used that as a deposit on my house, right?
Oh, wow.
So getting back to the Silverton Collective, I've never done any of this for money. I do it just to pay my way,
totally.
So I can, like years ago when we did Back to the Max, I paid my own way there, and we did all of that, and that didn't worry me. Once again, I'm doing that for the fans.
Exactly.
These days, I get to go to some conventions and this and that, and once again, it's not to make money; it's just to pay my way, and also to build my cars. Help me build my cars.
Totally. Are you still friends with any of the actors, or are you still close with any of the ones from Mad Max 2? Do you still talk to any of them online, or?
It's real funny. After Mad Max, I forget how long it was. It might have been 6 months or a year. I went to a stage play in Sydney where Mel Gibson was in a play called Death of the Salesman. And
Pinter.
I remember being in the audience, and I was pretty close up the front, and there was a part where Mel was off to the left of the stage or whatever, and he was looking around, and he saw me, and he sort of gave me a few little gestures to say, when it's finished, meet me in the show. Meet me after the show. And I met him after that, and he took me down to the green room where the actors were, and I met him and met some other guys. And famous line is, "That was the last I ever saw of the Road Warrior." But since then, after then, it was a few years later, I spoke to Steve Spears.
Yeah.
He was the mechanic. Mm-hmm. I managed to get his phone number somehow, and I rang him and spoke to him for a while. And once again, God rest his soul, he's passed away. But now, more recently, Vernon Wells, we've been at a couple of conventions together, and I met him also in Sydney when he came there. Bruce Spence, the Gyro Captain.
Yeah, Bruce, awesome.
One of my favourites.
He lives like down the road from me, where I am. I've been in contact with him through these conventions, and Virginia Hay, the Warrior Woman.
Yeah. She's also.
So
Well,
I'm really trying to get her to come out to the 40th anniversary. I'm trying to get Bruce Spence there.
Wow.
Can he fly?
I know that. And I'm trying to be diplomatic here. I know that the event they're doing at the Silverton Collective is not a big money thing, so they can't afford to pay actors to come.
Yeah.
But I'm trying myself to raise funds, and I may very well try to do in the next 6 months or so a fundraiser to, like a GoFundMe page to get Bruce and Gel and Virginia to the 40th anniversary. That event
definitely
to not be about making money.
Yeah.
But it should be everybody together.
Yeah.
It's a 40 year, and it's like.
Also,
geez.
Emil, we would love to help you with that event and help raise some cash for it as well with all our fans and stuff around the world. This is very important to all of us.
Yeah. Look, Virginia's. I don't know if you noticed, but Virginia in the last few months or so, she basically has said she's retired. She's retiring from doing conventions.
Yes.
But she would love to come to Australia for the 40th anniversary. It's just about, covering her airfares and accommodation and, things she's got to do to come out. Obviously, Gel would have to come. He's in Queensland, so he's not that far away from in Australia. And Bruce is only in Sydney, but you can understand that they just want to get. They're not making money from it. They just want to get covered their way. So we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, definitely.
It's sort of like a watch this space type of thing. We'll see how we go, but definitely I'm going to be there regardless. I don't care if it costs me a fortune to be there. I want to be there because I want it for the fans. That's what I want it for. It's the 40th anniversary, and this is the last time it's going to happen. Yeah. God bless. I mean, I'm only 48, but Bruce, Virginia, and Gel, and all of them, they're in their 70s. Yeah. And Vernon, and this could be the last hurrah. And I really want next year to be the year that we get everyone together. I really want it to be special for the fans.
Yeah. We met Vernon when we were over in LA, so we had a chat with him for the movie, for the documentary, which was great. Yeah. Was it great fun?
That man is a mover and a shaker. He just he knows everybody. He's done everything in the movie world. Incredible guy.
He's fantastic.
And he's a ladies' man. He's a ladies' man.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he is.
Some of us know that.
Love him.
Okay, quickly back to Stig. Do we have the results on who won the Celebrity Thunderdome? Was it Harry Potter or the? Come on. Harry.
Hold on. Based upon the fact that Harry Potter can do stairs, Harry Potter got it. A landslide, I'm afraid. It wasn't the same as yesterday. There was no big comeback.
No pay.
Sorry, Skelly.
So, to be fair,
Skelly. Oh dear.
To be fair, a Dalek in the desert's not going to really work very well with wheels, aren't it?
Sorry, mate. Sorry, mate.
The wheels would get stuck.
His wheels would get stuck in the dirt. Yeah. Sorry. I love you, but fantastic job. I love the position. God bless you, mate. And well, sorry, this man wins.
Emil, we would love to get
Emil,
well done.
Hold on, guys.
Kelly, you were awesome.
Emil, we would love.
You were awesome.
We would love to get you on more regularly, Emil, because you're such an entertaining guy, and you've got so much to to talk about, which would be brilliant. A quick question: in all the Mad Max films, if you were not the feral kid, what other role would you have? If you could pick any role, any of the Mad Max films.
Wow. Okay, let me ponder for a minute. Warboy.
Yes, that's it.
Awesome.
Warboy.
I've got an idea. So when we take you over to Wasteland next year, we were going to Warboy you up.
Yeah, done. Yeah.
Shave you.
Yeah, the white makeup, the black. Yeah,
everything. You get everything.
Sorry. Yeah, Warboy, Nux.
Yes.
Gotta be. Yeah.
Are we going to give him the full Warboy experience with the fire water?
Yes, fire water.
And the late night pole dancing. And
it will be the mother milk and everything.
Yeah.
That'll be the best night you don't remember.
There's been a love from the Order of the V8 and the Warboys over in Wasteland wanting to get the feral kids over to Wasteland for the next one. A lot of love.
Yeah, we do.
So I think it's a foregone conclusion.
It is going to happen. We're going to make it happen. Yeah. We also what we do, Emil. We've got this. We have, because we have so much fun, and we've played the Wasteland Weekend for the last 4 years running. over in LA.
Yeah.
So we have a little competition with the organizer of how many people can we get on the stage without the stage collapsing, and we're up to about 55. I think we had it at the last gig with snow cannons in all the War Boys, all the Mad Max 2 reenactors. Steve Schultz was on there. Lord Humongous, do you know Tank?
Yep. Love Tank. He's awesome.
Tank's going to come on the show as well.
Epic.
So he's on stage. We had literally everybody on stage, which was great fun. So that's the one thing we do.
Elvis.
And Elvis.
Yep.
There's a Wasteland Elvis.
Wasteland Elvis.
But
to meet Wasteland Elvis.
But also,
fantastic.
Our other thing we do is the War Boys have all the trucks, and they're just awesome fun. And every year we take over our own V2A Firewater, which is like a toffee sort of vanilla flavored vodka. We took over about how many liters? Whipped cream, sorry.
Whipped cream,
12,
I think.
12.
We took
12 bottles.
We took over 12 bottles, big like 2-litre bottles.
Yeah.
And we share the excitement and happiness around the camp with vodka.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Regret.
You have to stay hydrated. You need to think of all that.
Of course. Yes.
Yeah.
But we don't clear the mess up afterwards.
No.
Okay. Anything you would like to say to your fans in Europe and over in the States and in Australia?
I mean, today we are internationally. I have to say there are people from Finland, Germany, America, everywhere. England, obviously, but they're all over, everywhere. Australia.
So have you got? Oh, awesome!
Love you guys. I just love how everyone still is into Mad Max 40 years on, and the love and respect I've got for so many people on Facebook and Instagram and through you guys. Mate, love goes out to everyone. My heartfelt things go out to a lot of people right in these current times in Italy, Italy, America, and everywhere, England and everywhere. But, the people that have been hit hard, putting that aside, being Mad Max fans, that's what makes me at 48 still go, I love you guys. That's awesome. I feel really humbled to be a part of that. And that's truly amazing. It's something that I used to think that, truthfully, a couple of years ago, I used to think, what have I really done for this world to make an impact? And I thought I'd done nothing. I thought, shit. I mean, I'm a decent father, I believe. And a decent husband.
Yeah.
But I thought, what have I done for the world and everyone else? And I thought I haven't done anything. But when I think about it, what impact my character and me being part of Mad Max has given to people, that makes me go, yeah, I've done something, and that is gratifying to me as a person, who is like anyone else. By the way, I'm normal like everyone else. I suffer from anxiety and depression and things like that. I'm like everyone else. I'm not immune to any of that, and I just really love the support that I've got from fans, and that's beautiful. So thank you everyone to all over the world.
If everybody on the live chat,
well said.
If everybody on the live chat could just show their love and just give a kiss for the feral kid on the chat.
Oh yes, do that, guys.
Emil is the best. Emil is so great. Oh bloody hell! His head's exploding.
It's.
Thanks, Emil from the UK.
Also, many thanks to the wonderful Mrs. Minty, who was there to help with the feed as well.
Our technical support. Australia.
You need your grip.
She's awesome.
So, do you have a question for Steve Schultz then, who's on next? He's on Wednesday night.
You can run, but you can't hide.
That's a threat more than a question.
Did you hear what he did at the last Wasteland, by the way?
Sorry?
Did you hear what he did at the last Wasteland Weekend?
Oh, that was good.
It was quite funny. So
not good. No, not funny.
Well,
light-fingered Steve.
They went. Steve and Deirdre from Post Apocalyptic East, who was
the golden boy.
Yeah, the golden youth. So they drove into the War Boy camp. Deirdre snuck in, grabbed the staff.
It was staff.
Morton Joe's
staff. Power.
Nicked it, ran off, and then blamed, I think, was it on Facebook or whatever, then blamed V2A and said...
No, he told them, V2L told them to do that.
Told them to do it,
awesome.
yeah.
Steve is brilliant. I love his humour.
Shocking.
He's just an awesome guy. So what we did is when we got Steve, Mechanise had to spank his bottom.
No.
Sorry.
Incorrect.
Go on then, give us...
I found someone who spanked his...
Random passerby.
Yeah, a random passerby, not me. I don't do the dirty work.
One doesn't do my own spanking.
Yeah, so that...
Especially not with any bog.
So there was
And with no bog roll these days, it's very dirty work.
So there is a naughty Wes photo out of there with Steve having his bum slapped by a poor passerby for stealing Morton Joe's staff. So we'll have to share that. So back to, do you have a question for Steve? Apart from you can run but you can't hide, which is a good one. Threatening.
Well, no. I mean, the guy's awesome. I mean, he's got. You're right. He's got such motivation, and he's such a great Wes, cosplay artist. Oh yeah, good. Thank you, my wife. That's what my wife's here. What motivates you to do what you do?
Oh, us V2A.
No.
Oh, you.
No.
For Steve.
Oh, Steve.
For Steve.
Yeah,
sorry.
What motivates Steve? What motivates Steve to have that passion that he does?
Yeah. I must admit.
Nice question.
And in what time or period of his life did Mad Max have an influence on him?
That's a great one. We will ask that on Wednesday. And we will
and deliver the threat.
Deliver the threat. He can run, but he can't hide.
Yeah.
I just said from the V8. They just said, "Oh, that's bad memories." The Morton was not amused.
Yes.
Well, we know that.
We know that.
Definitely.
We were in trouble and had not even anything to do with it.
Any other shout-outs then, Emil, before we...
No, you guys right here. I'm talking to you, Enos. All you guys that I'm talking to right now, fantastic for having me. Thank you very much. Love you.
Oh, awesome. It's so great to be here.
This is truly an honour. This is truly an honour, and you are forever part of our V2A as well. So we would love
V2A cult.
We would love to get you on stage anytime we're playing big festivals anywhere. We're going to try and get you as part of the crew and get you on stage and get you a snow cannon, and we're going to help build you a post-apocalyptic outfit, and you can cause chaos to the world, sir. And also,
just come to the pub.
we're gonna start off the online campaign for Mr. Miller to get you in the next Mad Max. So,
all right, awesome.
Yes.
Watch this space. Okay, well, thank you much. Thank you, everybody. Hope you've all enjoyed it. Loads of love to Mr. Minty, Mrs. Minty, everybody from the Cult of V2A, all the War Boys. I don't know who else is on. Who else is on, Stig?
Everybody, a lot of...
Oh, bloody hell, loads of people. We've got War Boys, we've got Demigoths there, Blackie's there. We've got all the people who need to be there are there.
Tony.
Kara's there, Terry's there. Terry's
Mark
not blown
Standing.
Yeah.
Matt Max. Adam, of course, our Frank
Jill from Finland, he's here. It's all good.
It's just so many people, and they all come, to see us, and of course to see you. You are our first superstar, so we're so honoured to have you.
And we would love to get you back on more regularly.
And you won the Thunderdome.
Back.
And he won the Thunderdome.
And you won the Thunderdome, so you've got to come back sometime. So, have a lovely Sunday. Yep. I take it's about, was it 9 o'clock Sunday morning?
Yeah, I'm going back to sleep.
You deserve...
All that excitement's been too much.
You deserve it, guys. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
See you
all,
see you all on the next one. Good night.
Cheers.
Bye. Awesome, brothers. Peace.